Why do we call letters characters? Because they never change. B is B at 2 a.m. B is B in Africa, in Asia, in the Bronx, in a blackout, under pressure, under applause, under accusation. B does not adjust to mood swings. Write it down. You can never disagree with the principle. We trust the alphabet because A is always A and C is still C. We trust arithmetic because 1 is always 1 and 2 is always 2, whether your feelings are up or down. That's why we call numbers characters, because they refuse to modify themselves to accommodate your circumstances. Tweet that to somebody right now. Character refuses to negotiate with circumstances. Statues don't move. That's why we call them statues. They are fixed, resolute, and stubbornly consistent. Nobody consults a puddle for direction. They consult a statue. When your life takes the shape of your environment, you lose leadership. When your life holds its shape in any environment, you gain trust. Your 2 a.m. life funds, your 2 p.m. influence. Write it down. Your midnight decisions under no spotlight pay your afternoon trust bill when the cameras come on. If people cannot predict you, they cannot invest in you. They don't invest money in unpredictable markets, and they won't invest trust in unpredictable lives. What is character? Character is integrated, unchanging selfhood. Integrity means oneness, not acting oneness. To integrate is to become one. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Holiness is not weirdness. Holiness is oneness. Be holy, for I am holy. 1 Peter 1:16. God is integrated. There is no fracture in him. That's why you can trust him. Integrity is not performance. It is personhood. Hypocrisy is acting. Integrity is alignment. Integrity means what you say, what you think, what you do, and what you desire are one at 2 a.m. and at 2 p.m. Character is self-imposed discipline that makes you the same person when nobody's watching and when everybody's watching. Double-minded people are dangerous because you don't know who is coming to the meeting. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. James 1:8. Write it down. Instability is simply the absence of integrity. When your private mind and your public mouth are not the same, your soul shakes and your world will soon follow. The greatest gift you can give those who follow you is predictability under pressure. Don't confuse boredom with trust. Predictable goodness may not trend, but it governs nations, stabilizes families, and builds companies that outlast trends. Let me correct a cultural lie. Charisma is not character. Your gift can get you on the stage. Only your character can keep you there. Talent gets attention. Integrity earns trust. Gifts are given. Character is grown. Charisma makes people clap. Character makes people commit. You can be very skilled and very unsafe. You can sing at 2 p.m. and lie at 2 a.m. and the world will discover the mismatch. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. Luke 16:10. Faithfulness at 2 a.m. is the least. The microphone at 2 p.m. is the much. Character is the quiet practice of deciding who you will never be, so the noise of applause cannot edit you. Principles are laws. They never change. You can ignore gravity, but you cannot disagree with it without consequence. You can ignore the law of integrity, but you cannot disagree with it without paying. Leaders fall not because they didn't know. They fall because they negotiated with a law that does not negotiate. Write this down. You do not break principles. They break you. That's why we begin at 2 a.m. The unseen place is the courtroom of character. That's where you pass sentence on yourself, guilty or grounded. Your verdict will be read publicly at 2 p.m. Who are you when no one is asking for a selfie? Who are you when no platform is calling your name? Who are you when fatigue is louder than your conscience? Character answers those questions the same way every time. Consistency is the currency of trust. People spend your words based on the balance in your integrity account. Every time you tell the truth when a lie is cheaper, deposit. Every time you honor a boundary when lust is convenient, deposit. Every time you return a call you promise to return, deposit. And at 2 p.m., when the boardroom wants to know if your forecast is real, they look at your 2 a.m. balance. Let me make this very practical. The pilot who checks the list at 2 a.m. When no passenger is watching purchases my confidence at 2 p.m. The surgeon who washes those hands with no audience buys my life on the table. The parent who interrupts a private habit before it becomes a family culture invests in inheritance of trust in children not yet born. Write it down. Your private rituals are public policy in waiting. You are legislating your future behind closed doors. I am not impressed by how loud your gift speaks. I am watching how quiet your standards stand. The loudest sound in leadership is a silent yes to principle. It is the yes to oneness. It is the refusal to improvise morality because the moment is urgent. Integrity is not convenience. It is covenant. Covenant with your future. Covenant with God. Covenant with those who must live in the wake of your choices. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Anything other than oneness invites negotiation with darkness. So here is the governing question for this entire journey. Who are you at 2 a.m.? Not what do you do, not how many followers. Who are you when no one is asking for a selfie? Write it down. This is not motivational theory. This is moral architecture. If you get the 2 a.m. you right, the 2 p.m. you will not surprise anybody. If you fake the 2 a.m., the 2 p.m. you will eventually betray everybody. Decide to be one. Decide that B will be B, even when your feelings spell something else. Decide that your name becomes a statute, fixed, predictable, safe. I leave you with this maxim to carry into the next step. Character is the weight of your words. If your words carry no weight at 2 a.m., they will collapse under the cameras at 2 p.m. Lead with your life. There is no such thing as a private life. Your 2 a.m. life is already voting in your 2 p.m. election. Choose oneness. Choose integrity. Choose to become a character the world can read without confusion anywhere, at any hour. There is no such thing as a private life. Write it down. Tweet that to somebody right now. Secrets are simply delayed headlines. They are press releases with a timer. Jesus already told you the policy. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. What you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight. Luke 12:2-3. You can never disagree with the principle. You can ignore it, but it will not ignore you. The universe is wired for exposure because integrity is oneness and deception is division. The light is patient, but it is relentless. I call it the trust ledger. Your life is a bank that others deposit and withdraw from by faith. Every hidden choice at 2 a.m. is either a quiet deposit or a quiet withdrawal from your public account at 2 p.m. When you tell the truth to yourself in the mirror, deposit. When you delete the history hoping nobody will see, withdrawal. When you show up on time to pray, study, prepare, deposit. When you pad the expense report by just a little, withdrawal. You are not getting away with anything. You are building a credit score of credibility. And when the day comes that you need people to spend your words like cash, they will check your balance. He who walks in integrity walks securely, but he who takes crooked paths will be found out. Proverbs 10:9. Found out. That's not a threat. That's a law. Let me make it plain with a story. A young executive named Kareem, this is a parable, stay with me, used to forward himself confidential files at midnight so he could work from home. No one knew. It was harmless. A year later, a competitor unveiled a product eerily similar to his team's prototype. The company launched an internal review. They uncovered a pattern of unauthorized forwarding from his account. No evidence he sold anything. But the board didn't need a smoking gun. They had a smoldering habit. Trust withdrew. Career collapsed. You say, but he didn't mean harm. Intentions are not deposits. Decisions are. Write it down. People do not trust your intentions. They trust your patterns. Flip it. A nurse named Alina, unseen on the night shift, refused to sign off a checklist she hadn't witnessed. It cost her an extra hour. Her supervisor never asked. Months later, a patient's family wrote a letter. Your hospital saved our father because a nurse caught a missed dosage at 2 a.m. They found her. They promoted her. Her 2 a.m. deposit paid interest at 2 p.m. Small, silent righteousness compounds. Never do anything in secret you don't want read aloud in a board meeting. That's not paranoia. That's prudence. Imagine your last 24 hours projected on a screen in your industry conference. Your clicks, your texts, your tone with the waiter, your late night conversation, your expense line, which you need to explain. Explanations are usually receipts for withdrawals. Honesty is my only policy. Write it down. Live so your first reaction to exposure would be, play it again. There is no private life because you don't live in a closed system. Your habits leak into your culture. Your secrecy forms policies. Policies of permission, policies of procrastination, policies of predation. The husband's hidden flirt becomes the family's atmosphere of suspicion. The pastor's quiet compromise becomes the congregation's loud confusion. The CEO's private favoritism becomes the company's public lawsuit. Your unseen behavior is already public policy in waiting. It will govern how people trust you. If you lead anything yourself, your home, your team, write this. Your shadow leads before you arrive. Your presence only confirms it. God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. Ecclesiastes 12:14. Judgment simply means evaluation, assessment, audit. Which brings me to your assignment. Audit your last 24 hours. Do it tonight, not tomorrow, right now, mentally. What did you deposit into your trust ledger? Did you keep a promise no one would verify? Deposit. Did you entertain a fantasy you would be ashamed to describe? Withdraw. Did you prepare thoroughly for the meeting that lasted 5 minutes? Deposit. Did you speak harshly to someone who couldn't retaliate? Withdraw. Did you consume content that weakens your spine? Withdraw. Did you give generously without a selfie? Deposit. Tally it. Be ruthless with the numbers. You cannot manage what you will not measure. Nothing in all creation is hidden from God's sight. Everything is uncovered and laid bare. Hebrews 4:13. If heaven already sees, wisdom lives as if earth is watching too. That's why I tell leaders, build your day as though a reporter is in your pocket and an angel is on your shoulder. Because they are your phone records and your conscience. You don't need fear to obey. You need foresight. Integrity is self-imposed discipline. Character is the refusal to outsource your conscience to the darkness. Let me correct the illusion. Privacy is not protection. It is probation. In privacy, you are proving who you are to yourself. The test is not whether you can hide it. The test is whether you can face it. Be sure your sin will find you out. Numbers 32-23. The Hebrew idea of find out there is to overtake, to catch up like a runner. That means withdrawals pursue you with compound interest. But here's the hope. So do deposits. Goodness and mercy shall follow me. Your right choices track you like hounds of honor. So we adopt a code. Repeat after me quietly in your heart if you must. I do not live a double life. I do not keep secrets that sabotage trust. I do not speak one thing and practice another. My yes is yes, my no is no. I am the same at 2 a.m. and at 2 p.m. Write it down, tweet it, post it on your bathroom mirror, and staple this maxim to your soul. Never do anything in secret you don't want read aloud in a board meeting, a classroom, or your child's bedtime. Now someone says, Doc, what if I already made withdrawals? Then deposit immediately. Expose the fungus to sunlight. Confess, repent, realign, make the call, return the money, delete the contact, end the meeting, cancel the trip. Replace secrecy with structure. Because if privacy is a myth, then principles must be our guardrails. Principles are laws, they never change. Build fences so you don't need secrets. Put windows on your habits. Share calendars. Set time locks on apps. Place a second pair of eyes on your accounts. Do not trust your feelings. Trust your fences. This is not control. This is freedom. Transparency is cheaper than recovery. It is cheaper to choose predictability today than to purchase credibility tomorrow after a collapse. Lead with your life. Build a world where the path of least resistance is integrity. Live loudly even when you are alone. Your future is reading your present, and your followers are already spending or saving based on what you do in the dark. Decide that your 2 a.m. policy becomes your 2 p.m. predictability. Decide that your trust ledger will be in the black before sunrise. And decide once and for all that there is no such thing as a private life, only a life. Be one. Now hear the order of God. Genesis reveals it plainly. Then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Image first, dominion second. Write it down. You can never disagree with the principle. Tweet this right now. God gave character before power, because power without character is suicide. That's not rhetoric, that's architecture. The Creator never gives rulership to a fractured image. He secures the person, then he releases the power. Only character can carry power safely. Image must anchor dominion. What is image? Image is nature, likeness, integrated self, the oneness we spoke about. What is dominion? Dominion is authorization to manage, to influence, to govern environments and resources. Charisma can mimic image for a moment. Dominion will expose it forever. Power does not corrupt. Power exposes. Power amplifies. The microphone does not change your voice. It merely makes everybody hear what you already sound like. The budget doesn't change your soul. It only gives your soul a louder speaker. The title does not create character. It reveals if you had any. Write it down. Promotion magnifies patterns. That's why promotion without preparation is demolition. I learned this watching leaders in government and boardrooms. A platform is a pressure cooker. It will boil whatever is inside you. Think of power like electricity. It is neutral but dangerous. You need insulation. Character is your insulation. If the wire is thin and the voltage is high, you have a fire. If the container is weak and the pressure is strong, you have an explosion. Gifts are voltage. Convictions are insulation. Don't pray for more power, pray for thicker walls. Delay applause until you can survive it. Scripture gives us 2 case studies, Joseph and Samson. Joseph encountered private pressure long before he touched Pharaoh's ring. In Potiphar's house at 2 a.m., a door closed, a proposition made, and a destiny tested. He said, how then could I do this great evil and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. Deposit. He lost his coat but kept his character. Years later at 2 p.m., Pharaoh handed him the keys of Egypt. Why? Because the same man who could say no to a secret appetite could say yes to a nation's famine plan. Image before dominion. Contrast Samson. Gifted, viral strength. He treated his vow like a suggestion, played with boundaries like toys, and he did not know that the Lord had departed from him. Judges 16:20. Power came first, character came never, and the collapse was spectacular. You can ignore this law, but you will not outrun it. David learned this sequence too, so he shepherded them according to the integrity of his heart and guided them with his skillful hands. Psalm 78-72. Heart before hands. Integrity before competency. God kept David in fields and caves, not because he forgot him, but because he was forming him. Delay is not denial. Delay is development. The wilderness is God's workshop. Even our Lord Jesus went to the wilderness before the synagogue. He faced the triad, hunger, fame, shortcuts, and emerged with scripture in his mouth and self-mastery in his bones. Only then did he read, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and the town listened, Luke 4. He modeled the law, image, then dominion. Let me make it modern. A startup founder goes viral. Investors wire millions overnight. Headcount doubles and headlines soar. But at 2 a.m., he still padded time, hid expenses until the round closed, and treated people like parts. The money did not make him corrupt. The money made his corruption undeniable. Within 18 months, lawsuits, resignations, and a tearful apology on a platform he once worshipped. Promotion without preparation is demolition. Flip it. A leader suffers long in obscurity. He refuses bitterness, forgives enemies, studies quietly, and practices restraint when no camera is on. When he finally steps into office, he governs with magnanimity we cannot fake. Ask Mandela's jailer. The bars forged the man, then the man shaped the nation. This is your mandate. Build the person before you build the platform. Bury the lust for quick visibility under slow obedience. Write it down. Do not seek stages, seek statues within yourself. Do not chase claps, chase clarity of conscience. Delay applause until you can survive it. If God slows you down, it's mercy. If doors stay shut, it's insulation being wrapped around your wire. Don't pray, Lord, enlarge my territory, until you have prayed, Lord, enlarge my soul. Do not ask for influence you cannot carry without injuring the people who trust you. How do you know you're ready? Ask ruthless questions. Who can tell you no and you obey without sulking? What appetite do you feed in secret that power would put on a billboard? Are you for sale? At what price? If a donor offers more money with a small condition, does your spine get weaker or stronger? If a beautiful temptation weighs privacy like a warranty, do your feet move toward the exit or toward the bed? Write it down. If you cannot command yourself, you cannot command anything else. Paul said, I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest, after preaching to others, I myself should become disqualified. 1 Corinthians 9:27. That's not legalism. That's leadership. Man. Jesus concluded a sermon with a construction lesson. 2 builders, 2 houses, same storm, different foundations. The one who hears and does the word builds on rock. The one who hears and ignores builds on sand. Matthew 7:24-27. Notice, the storm did not create the crack. It revealed the foundation. Promotion is a storm. Visibility is a storm. Success is a storm. If you want to know your foundation, do not wait for the storm. Inspect at 2 a.m. Be your own building inspector. The integrity of the upright will guide them, but the perversity of the unfaithful will destroy them. Proverbs 11:3. Destroy. That's demolition language. Honesty is my only policy. So let me be plain. If you manipulate people to get power, power will manipulate you. If you cut corners to climb, the height will cut you. If you fake excellence, the lights will expose dust you could have swept in private. Better to be delayed with dignity than accelerated into disaster. Lead with your life when your image is one, when you are the same at 2 a.m. as you are at 2 p.m. Dominion is not dangerous, it is stewardship. Then your authority becomes protection rather than predation. Then your decisions bless rather than brand you. We are about to build this image intentionally. Not vibes, values. Not talk ethics, because outcomes are not the echo of intentions, they are the echo of values. Your inner laws must become your lifestyle. Write it down. Before we ask for more power, we will become more one. Image before dominion, character before power. And when the afternoon comes, nothing will collapse because you already passed the test at midnight. Not vibes, values. Not talk ethics. We are moving from slogans to statutes inside the soul. Let me draw you the map. Write it down. Philosophy produces values. Values produce morals. Morals inform ethics. Ethics shape character. Character becomes lifestyle. You can never disagree with the principle. It is the cascading law of life. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Your outcomes are not the echo of your intentions. They are the echo of your values. What is philosophy? Philosophy is simply your belief system, your view of God, self, people, time, money, sex, power, purpose. It is the invisible lens on your eyes. What are values? Values are what you value. The things you treat as weighty. If you won't sacrifice for it, you don't value it. You just admire it. What are morals? Morals are your personal standards birthed by those values, the internal right, wrong settings of your conscience. What are ethics? Ethics are how you behave when it costs you. Ethics are your applied morals under pressure. What is character? Character is the integrated collection of practice ethics, who you are every day at 2 a.m. and at 2 p.m. And what is lifestyle? Lifestyle is your public pattern, the visible repetition of your character that becomes your reputation. By their fruits you will know them, Matthew 7:16. Fruits are lifestyle. Roots are philosophy and values. Write it down. If you don't like the fruit, examine the root. Let me trace one public habit back to its birthplace so you can see the stream. Say you are chronically late to meetings. That's a lifestyle pattern visible. Character, unreliable under time pressure. Ethics, you consistently choose to prioritize what you were doing over what you promised. Morals, your internal standard permits a few minutes because you think results matter more than respect. Values, you value your convenience above another's time. Philosophy, people exist to accommodate your schedule. Now flip it. Punctuality. Lifestyle, you arrive early, prepared. Character, dependable. Ethics, you plan buffer time. You text when delayed. Morals, you hold yourself to keep your word. Values, you honor others. Philosophy, people bear God's image and time is a trust. Teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Psalm 90:12, same calendar, different cascade. Consider generosity, lifestyle, open-handed, consistent giver. Character, trustworthy with resources. Ethics, you give first, save second, spend last. Morals, it is wrong to consume all, it is right to share. Values, stewardship over ownership. Philosophy, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. Psalm 24:1. Now consider corner cutting on expense reports. Lifestyle, little fudges, nervous audits. Character, selectively honest. Ethics, you justify rounding. Morals, it isn't really stealing. Values, entitlement. Philosophy, the company owes me. Write this down. You do not rise above your values. You perform them under pressure. Pressure does not create you. Pressure reveals you. This is why Jesus said, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Luke 6:45. Heart, there is philosophy and values. Mouth is ethics in action. Sound is lifestyle. You can rehearse intentions all day, but intentions do not make deposits. Decisions do. Tweet that to somebody. Decisions, not declarations, define you. James pressed it further. Faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. James 2:17. Dead faith is an intention with no ethic. Living faith becomes policy in your calendar and budget. So here is your diagnostic. Trace a public habit back to the value that birthed it. Take your work preparation. If your lifestyle is last-minute scrambling, your character tolerates urgency addiction, your ethics postpone diligence, your morals excuse procrastination, your values prize adrenaline over excellence, and your philosophy secretly believes charisma will cover negligence. If your lifestyle is quiet readiness, your character loves thoroughness, your ethics block time to prepare, your morals insist on stewardship, your values prize excellence, and your philosophy confesses, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord. Colossians 3:23. Same role, different route. Write it down. Outcomes are the echo of your values, not your intentions. That's why you must become ruthless about your root system. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. God means design. God means decide. God means plant the right seed and starve the weeds. Galatians 6:7 says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Sowing is values to ethics. Reaping is lifestyle. Practice time. I want you to write your top 5 values tonight. Not aspirational posters, actual priorities. Family, faith, excellence, generosity, purity, justice, whatever they are. Then test them against last week's calendar and bank statement. Your calendar is your theology of time. Your bank statement is your theology of treasure. If family is a value, but there was no unhurried table time on 3 nights, it's not a value, it's a slogan. If excellence is a value, but your prep shows up the morning of, you value approval more than accuracy. If generosity is a value, but you gave nothing proportionate and systematic, you value control more than compassion. If purity is a value, but your phone is wide open after midnight with no fences, your ethics are betraying your morals. Honesty is my only policy. Audit yourself. Now convert those 5 values into moral statements and then into ethical rules. Values to morals. Because I value honor, it is right to keep my word and wrong to manipulate. Because I value purity, it is right to flee compromise and wrong to entertain it. Because I value justice, it is right to tell the truth even when it costs values to ethics. Therefore, I arrive 10 minutes early. Therefore, I keep device windows locked at night. Therefore, I disclose conflicts. Therefore, I tell the whole truth in reports. Therefore, I practice Sabbath. Therefore, I give the first 10% before I spend. Write it down. Ethics are pre-decisions that remove future negotiations. When it costs you, your values speak through your ethics without asking permission from your feelings. Make the rules specific. If alone on business travel, no private meals in a closed room with someone who can complicate your purity or reputation. If a client asks you to shade the numbers, you decline respectfully and document the ask. If offense rises, you wait 24 hours before replying to an inflammatory email. If you break a commitment, you confess without excuse and offer restitution. This is not paranoia. This is principle. Principles are laws. They never change. You can ignore them, but they will audit you. I promise you, clarity will set you free. Your soul wants oneness. The Shema still speaks. The Lord our God. The Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Be one. Integrate. When your philosophy honors God and people, your values honor time and truth, your morals honor right over easy, your ethics honor behavior over bravado, your character becomes a fortress, your lifestyle becomes a testimony. People will not need a brochure to trust you. They will taste your fruit and buy your tree. So the assignment stands. Write the 5, test the 5, translate the 5 into rules you can live tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. and tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. Do it tonight. Tweet it to your own conscience if you must. Because when the pressure hits, you will not rise to your intentions. You will fall to your values. Choose them before the storm. Lead with your life. And watch your outcomes begin to sound like the song your heart has already learned to sing. Now, let me put tools in your hands. 5 silent disciplines that make loud credibility. Little hinges swing big doors. Small gears move big clocks. Write it down. Small, silent disciplines, practiced daily, become visible credibility with interest. You can never disagree with the principle. These are not Instagram moments. These are 2 a.m. rules that pay your 2 p.m. bills. Your trust ledger loves these deposits. Discipline 1, truth, ruthless self-honesty. Confess quickly. Conceal nothing. Say it with me. I do not lie. Write it down. Tweet that to your conscience. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. Proverbs 12:22. Delight means favor. Credibility begins where concealment ends. Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy. Proverbs 28:13. Mercy restores credit. Make this your practice. If you exaggerate, correct yourself in the same breath. If you misquote a number, send a correction email before they ask. If you break a rule, report yourself and accept consequence. Honesty is my only policy. Leaders don't manage optics. They master openness. Let me give you a parable. A manager named Suri discovered she had missed a compliance checkbox on a shipment. She could have slid it. No one knew. At 2 a.m., she chose truth. She emailed the auditor, flagged the error, and proposed a fix. It cost a day. At 2 p.m., the auditor said, we rarely see this. I'll note your proactive integrity. 12 months later, when budgets were cut, guess who they kept? Write it down. Confession is a deposit, not a deficit, in the trust ledger of real leaders. Discipline, 2-word, keeping. Appointments, emails, deadlines, promises, kept on time. Vow it now. I keep my word. Jesus said, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Psalm 15 describes the person God trusts, who keeps an oath even when it hurts and does not change their mind. Psalm 15:4. Word keeping is not convenience, it's covenant. Build fences. Do not say yes when you mean maybe. Replace soft promises with clear commitments or clear declines. Put commitments in a calendar you actually obey. Set alarms for deliverables. If delay is unavoidable, notify early before anyone wonders. Ecclesiastes warns, when you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it. Better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5. Translated, better to say no than to betray a yes. Your timestamps preach louder than your titles. Your subject lines become your signature. Write it down. Your punctuality is your prophecy. A quick illustration. Jacob, a consultant, decided on a 2-4-hour reply rule to clients. Even if the answer was, I'm on it, for response tomorrow, the timestamp trained trust. Within a quarter, his referrals doubled. Nothing mystical, just mathematics of promises. Consistency converts words into currency others spend with confidence. Discipline. 3, money, stewardship, track pennies, keep clean books, no secret accounts. Generosity breaks greed. Vow it. I do not steal. Scripture is surgical here. Let the thief steal no more, but rather let him labor so that he may have something to share. Ephesians 4:28. Notice, the antidote to stealing isn't just working, it's sharing. And here Jesus, whoever is faithful with very little will also be faithful with much. If you have not been trustworthy with worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? Luke 16:10-11. Money is a trust exam. So build systems. Every receipt photographed, every expense categorized, every reimbursement justified, 2 signatures on transfers, no personal purchases on corporate cards ever. Publish a simple budget to your spouse or trusted partner. Disclose gifts. Refuse kickbacks. Tithes first. Give consistently. Why? Generosity starves the spirit of entitlement that rationalizes theft. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord. Proverbs 11:1. Translation. Sloppy books are moral lies. And 2 Corinthians 8:21 sets the standard. We are taking pains to do what is right, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of man. Pain now is cheaper than scandal later. Listen to this cautionary tale. A team lead rounded travel meals to keep it simple. The totals were small. A new CFO audited randomly. She saw a pattern. Small dishonesty raised large doubts. The team lead lost authority, not because of dollars, but because decimals preached a doctrine, I am for sale in small amounts. Write it down. Your decimal points prophesy your destiny. Discipline. 4, sexual boundaries. Clear lines, guarded access, device protocols. Flee, don't negotiate. Scripture does not say discuss sexual immorality. It says flee, 1 Corinthians 6:18. Joseph did not schedule a follow-up. He ran. Job said, I made a covenant with my eyes. Job 31:1, make one. Set your fences now. Install filters with another human as admin. Time lock the dangerous hours. Remove private messaging apps after 10 p.m. Keep doors open for meetings. Choose glass rooms. No private meals or car rides with someone who can compromise your purity or your reputation. Publish your calendar to your spouse or accountability partner. Text your location when on travel. Never counsel alone behind closed doors. Kill flirtation immediately. Humor is not harmless when hormones are hiring it. And write it down. When temptation whispers privacy, answer with policy. Say the vow out loud. I do not negotiate with lust. I flee. I honor my vows. My body is not for rent. My future is not for sale. Understand the law behind the fence. Sex is powerful like fire, beautiful in a fireplace, destructive in the curtains. Principle, power must be contained by character. Fleeing is not fear, it is foresight. People do not fall into beds. They walk there one unguarded click at a time. So cut off the path. Your future will thank your feet. Discipline. 5, time and order, punctuality, sleep, tidy spaces, prioritize mornings, order, honors, purpose. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. Walk circumspectly, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Ephesians 5:15-16. Jesus rose a great while before day. Mark 1:35. Why? To govern his day before the day governed him. Create rhythm. Set a hard bedtime. Leaders respect tomorrow so much they leave tonight early. Put your phone to sleep outside the bedroom. Begin your mornings with scripture, planning, and the one hard task that moves purpose forward. Arrive 10 minutes early. Arrival is honor. End meetings on time. Endings are leadership. Do a 10-minute evening reset. Desk cleared, bag prepared, clothes set, priorities written. Chaos is a tax. Order is a refund. Your environment preaches. Tidy spaces declare, I am ready. Sloppy spaces confess, I am surviving. Choose your sermon. Let me tie the 5 together. Truth builds trust foundation. Word keeping frames its walls. Money stewardship secures its doors. Sexual boundaries fireproof the house. Time and order furnish the rooms so people can live under your leadership without tripping. Small acts, quiet, boring to the flesh, electric to the future. Write it down. Your private disciplines are compounding accounts. Interest accrues in public at the most inconvenient or most opportune times. Now seal it with vows. Speak them like locks on your soul. I do not lie. I keep my word. I do not steal. I flee sexual immorality. I honor my body and my vows. I redeem my time. I do all things in order. Say them in the night until your bones memorize them. Psalm 119-106 says, I have sworn, and I will confirm it, that I will keep your righteous ordinances. Swear to your own hurt if necessary, then confirm it with systems. Because vows without fences are poetry. Vows with practices are policy. And here is the hope soaked in urgency. You don't need a stadium to start. You need a clock, a calendar, and a conscience. Begin tonight at 2 a.m. with one act of truth. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. spend the interest modestly. A kept appointment, a clean receipt, an on-time deliverable, a gracious no, a fleeing footstep. Then repeat. Compound. After 30 days, your name will weigh more. People will lean on your words like pillars. Leave with your life. Because when your 2 a.m. becomes predictable, your 2 p.m. becomes powerful. Midnight vows. This is where you lock yourself in the prison of convictions so you can be free in public. Write it down. Tweet this to somebody right now. Convictions are the prison that protects your freedom. You can never disagree with the principle. Without vows, pressure writes your policy. With vows, principle writes your policy. Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself. Daniel 1-8. Purpose before pressure. Vows pre-decide your behavior, so pressure cannot. So we make it plain. Speak them out of your mouth, because your mouth steers your life. Let your yes be yes and your no. No, Matthew 5:37. Here are the midnight vows, the locks on your soul. Say them now. Say them at 2 a.m. Say them at sunrise. I do not lie. I keep my word. I do not steal. I am not for sale. I return what I borrow. I do not hide. I flee sexual immorality. I tell the truth to my own hurt. I disclose conflicts. I arrive when I said and deliver what I promised. Write them down by hand, sign them, date them, and post them where your eyes cannot ignore them. Proverbs says, bind them on the tablet of your heart. Write them on the tablet of your heart, Proverbs 3-3. And Deuteronomy commands, write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, Deuteronomy 6-9. Put them on your mirror, your laptop lid, your phone, lock screen. Let your walls preach. Some of you need to hear this line again. I am not for sale. Price tags belong on products, not on people. A gift with strings is not a gift. It is a leash. Your vow cuts the string before it is tied. Psalm 15 describes the person God invests in. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That's a vow. Ecclesiastes warns, when you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it. Better not to vow than to vow and not pay. Ecclesiastes 5:4-5. Translation, don't make poetic promises. Make payable promises. Honesty is my only policy. Now add guardrails to your vows, because a vow without offense is poetry. A vow with a practice is policy. You vow, I do not lie. The guardrail is, I correct exaggeration in the same breath, and I send a correction email within 24 hours if I misspoke. You vow, I keep my word. The guardrail is, I do not say yes on the spot. I check my calendar before I promise, and if I must delay, I notify early with a revised timeline. You vow, I do not steal. The guardrail is, I track every receipt. I never use a corporate card for personal spend, and I give the first portion to starve greed. You vow, I am not for sale. The guardrail is, I refuse undisclosed gifts. I disclose relationships and recuse when conflicted. You vow, I return what I borrow. The guardrail is, I set a reminder the moment I take it, and I restore with thanks, and with it better than I receive. You vow, I do not hide. The guardrail is, I confess quickly to my accountability partner and to the party affected before they discover it. Write it down. Fences make vows walkable. Ritualize this. Rituals turn decisions into reflex. Morning and night, speak them aloud. When you wake, I do not lie. I keep my word. I do not steal. I am not for sale. I return what I borrow. I do not hide. At sleep, I review my day against my vows. I confess where I missed. I make restitution appointments before bed. Create a ritual space mirror, index card, voice memo. Record your own voice declaring your vows and play it while you brush your teeth. Do a Monday team recitation 5 minutes at the start. We keep our word. We tell the truth. We steward money. We honor boundaries. We work in order. This is not theatrics. This is culture construction. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24-15. Houses have liturgies. Build one. Bring your family into it. At the dinner table on Fridays, ask 2 questions. Where did our vows protect us this week? Where did we need to repair? Parents, let your children watch you say, I forgot and I made it right. Leaders, let your teens hear you say, I missed my own standard. Here is how I am correcting it. Your transparency is not weakness. It is scaffolding for their strength. Whoever conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Proverbs 28-13. Mercy is credit restored. Accountability is the warden of your prison of convictions, and the keys are on the inside. Choose 1 or 2 people and give them written permission to confront you with your own vows. Not their preferences, your vows. Hand them your list. Sign a consent. You may ask me for calendar screenshots, expense reports, browser reports, and travel logs. You may call me at any hour. You may interrupt my excuses. You may require restitution plans. Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Proverbs 27-6. Hebrews 3:13 says, exhort one another daily, lest any of you be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. Daily. Deceit is crafty. Vows and friends, unmask it. Set consequences in advance, not in anger. If I break my word without just cause, I will refund fees or add value at my expense. If I violate a boundary, I will step back from the context where I am tempted, inform the proper authority, and submit to a plan. If I hide, I will confess publicly to the circle affected. Why? Pre-decided consequences remove the bargaining table inside your head. You are building policy that outlives your moods. Write it down. Feelings make poor legislators. Let me give you a picture. A vine without a trellis becomes a tangle. Your soul is a fruitful vine. Vows are your trellis. The trellis does not bear fruit. It bears the weight of fruit. The trellis looks like limits. It produces liberty. When you stand at noon under power, money, or sex, the 3 tests that expose everybody, your midnight structure will hold your afternoon fruit. That is why I am pressing you to print your vows and practice them aloud. When the heat rises, Reflex answers faster than intellect. And one more thing, measure it. A vow you cannot measure is a wish. Create a simple weekly audit. 5 check boxes for 5 core vows and their guardrails. Did I tell the truth and correct exaggerations? Did I keep or renegotiate every commitment early? Are my books clean, receipts in? Gifts disclosed? Generosity practiced? Did I free, not flirt, with boundaries intact? Did I return what I borrowed and refuse to hide? If you check no, write the restitution step and do it before 2 p.m. the next day. James says, be doers of the word and not hearers only. James 1:22. Doers check boxes of obedience. This is the moment to choose your cell. Lock yourself in the prison of convictions. Smile when the door shuts. The bars are made of yes and no. Yes to truth, no to deceit. Yes to covenant, no to compromise. Yes to stewardship, no to stealing. Yes to light, no to hiding. And hear me, the key never leaves your hand. Any day you can open the door and walk out, but if you do, the warden that protected you becomes the witness at your trial. Better to be bound to principles than captured by pressure. Lead with your life. Vows at midnight make your 2 p.m. unshakable. Write it down, say it loud, then live it tomorrow before the sun remembers your name. Now the vows meet the noonday sun. Here come the 3 tests that expose everybody. Write it down. Only 3 things will ever tell the truth about your character, power, money, and access to sex. You can never disagree with the principle. These are not random temptations. They are scheduled exams. Expect the tests and pre-build fences, because principles don't bend when pressure arrives. They won't bend for you. They didn't bend for Samson. They didn't bend for Joseph. They are laws. Test 1, power. Power is when you can get away with it. Power is when nobody can make you stop. The question is simple. Do you still submit to principle when you don't have to submit to people? Tweet that to somebody right now. When Satan offered Jesus all the kingdoms, all this authority I will give you if you will worship before me. Luke 4:6-7. He answered with principle. You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. Luke 4:8. Power tested, principle triumph. That's image before dominion. Write it down. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. Power is an amplifier. Whatever is in you gets louder with authority. So here's the fence. Publish your policies before you get promoted. Submit your decisions to review even when you outrank the room. Keep a standing rule. Any contract, any hire, any spend above X requires 2 unrelated approvals. Yours and one not afraid of you. Keep minutes. Keep receipts of influence. Refuse private punishments and public praises. Correct in person, credit in public. Ask the servant's question before you sign. Does this decision make life better for those I lead? Proverbs 29:2 says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. If the people around you sigh when you enter, your power is failing the test. And hear this hypothetical in your soul. If you could delete the email trail and nobody would know, would you still obey policy? If the answer is no, you are not a leader. You are a liability with a title. Test 2, money. Money is neutral. The love of money is lethal. For the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. Money tests your values with decimals, not declarations. Budgets tell the truth. Receipts preach sermons. Delayed gratification is governance. Write it down. If you cannot say no to a purchase, it means the purchase is leading you. Luke 16:10-11 is still law. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. If you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? Money is the practice exam for true authority. So build the fences. Zero-based budget. First tenth, given generosity as governance. It breaks greed's spine. Second portion saved. Spending last. Every receipt captured same day. No personal items on corporate cards ever. No undisclosed gifts ever. No rounding in your favor ever. 2 signatures for transfers. Monthly reconciliation. You sign and someone else audits. 2 Corinthians 8:21 is policy. We are taking pains to do what is right. Not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of men. Pain now is cheaper than scandal later. And let me challenge you with a noonday offer. A vendor slides you a luxury weekend. No strings, just goodwill. Are you for sale? Another scene. A manager says, round your hours. We all do it. Are you for sale? Someone whispers, leak me the bid price. I'll take care of you. If there is a price, you are for sale. Your vow must answer before your adrenaline does. I do not steal. I am not for sale. My name is more valuable than a perk. Proverbs 22:1. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Choose it every receipt. Test 3, sex. This one is not theoretical. Sex is like fire, wonderful in the fireplace, catastrophic in the curtains. The test is always proximity and privacy. If temptation can get you alone long enough, it can negotiate your theology. Scripture doesn't debate this. It commands, flee sexual immorality. 1 Corinthians 6:18. Flee means feet. Joseph left his garment and fled. Genesis 39:12. Samson lingered, Joseph left. Write it down. Lingerers lose, leavers live. Proverbs 6:27 asks, can a man carry fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? You can never disagree with that principle. So burn the bridges to secret access. Flee first, explain later. That's your fence. No private DMs after 9 p.m. Delete secret chat apps. Put a human admin on your filters. Meetings in glass rooms. Doors open. No closed door counseling alone. No private meals or car rides with someone who can complicate your purity or your reputation. Travel with transparency. Share your calendar and location with your spouse or accountability. Pack purpose. Don't roam halls. When flattery shows up, starve it with distance. When an innuendo lands, kill it with clarity. I don't talk like that. I honor my covenant. And let me press a hypothetical into your conscience. Somebody offers to pay your mortgage off if you sleep with them once. What is your answer? Say it out loud now so you don't have to think later. If you have to think, you've already lost. Your vow speaks. I am not for sale. My body is a temple, not a transaction. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. These 3 tests are coming to noon in your life. Repeatedly promotion rooms, audit rooms, hotel rooms. They do not arrive to make you fail. They arrive to reveal your fences. Pressure doesn't create you. Pressure reveals you. That's why we build vows at midnight. That's why we forge policies when no one was watching. Now, rehearse your lines. Power test line. I submit to policy even when I outrank policy. Money test line. I track. I disclose. I give first. Sex test line. I flee. I don't negotiate with lust. Tweak that to your conscience. Let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. 1 Corinthians 10:12. That is not fear. That is wisdom. It is the humility that keeps you close to your guardrails. And here is the hope soaked in urgency. If you pre-build defenses, you will not need to improvise a conscience. Your life will answer faster than your lips. Your 2 a.m. disciplines will patrol your 2 p.m. platform. When power smiles, you will serve. When money waves, you will steward. When lust whispers, you will run. Lead with your life, because when noonday heat arrives, character is your only shade. Now let's talk economics, kingdom economics, the trust ledger. Write it down. Consistency converts your words into a currency others will spend with confidence. You can never disagree with the principle. People don't follow titles, they follow trust. Reputation is not applause, it is credit. Trust is capital. Your name sets the credit limit others extend to you. Some of you are operating on a $50 conversational limit. You can buy a coffee of confidence. Others have built a $5 million line. People will sign their future on your word. Proverbs 22:1 says, a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Why? Because a good name can purchase what money cannot. Permission, patience, partnership. Here is a maxim for your bones. Character is the weight of your words. The heavier they are, the fewer you need. Tweet that to somebody right now. Light words float, heavy words land. Light words require paragraphs. Heavy words need a sentence. Jesus said, let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. When your yes weighs enough, You won't need to add adjectives. Write it down. Credibility compresses language. People do not need you to swear. They need to remember your track record. Trust works like money. You cannot withdraw what you have not deposited. Every truth told is a deposit. Every on-time delivery is a deposit. Every corrected exaggeration is a deposit. Every disclosed conflict is a deposit. And every missed deadline without notice, every rounded expense, to keep it simple, every flirtation with secrecy, those are withdrawals with fees. Overdraw your trust account, and the bank does not call you a leader, it calls you a risk. Luke 16:10-11 is the accounting law. He who is faithful in what is least is faithful also in much. If you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? Character is self-imposed discipline that secures divine and human credit. Let's get practical. Metrics are moral. If you cannot measure it, you will excuse it. So track 3 simple indicators every week. 1, your on-time delivery rate. Of everything you promised, how many arrived when you said or earlier? Aim for 95% or higher. Don't justify. Calculate. 2, your promise to performance ratio. Count the promises you made and the promises you kept, exactly as stated. If you promised 10 and delivered 7, the ratio isn't 70%, it's a warning light. 3, your word to action lag. How many hours between I will and the first visible step? Kingly leaders shorten that lag. James 2:18 whispers, show me your faith without works, and I will show you my faith by my works. Translate, shorten the gap. Write it down. The longer the lag, the lighter the word. The shorter the lag, the heavier the word. Compound interest is the quiet miracle of character. Small, truthful acts repeated beat occasional heroics. Everybody loves the rescue story, the all-nighter, the last-minute save. But heroic withdrawals cannot replace daily deposits. Proverbs 28:20 declares, a faithful person will abound with blessings. Faithful means predictable, not dramatic. The trust ledger pays interest to the consistent, not the theatrical. Your name accrues value every time you do the ordinary on time and tell the truth when no one would have known the difference. That is why your 2 a.m. disciplines pay your 2 p.m. bills. Let me give you a case study. A leader named Elena ran operations for a manufacturing firm. She wasn't the loudest in the room, but she had a 98% on-time delivery rate tracked for 12 months. Her promise to performance ratio sat at 49, kept out at 50. Promised she apologized for the 1 and delivered restitution before they asked. Her average word to action lag was 12 minutes if she said, I'll send a report, the draft hit your inbox before your coffee cooled. She corrected her own data errors in the same breath she spoke them. She disclosed tiny conflicts that most people would ignore. She was boring to gossip. She was electric to trust. Then a crisis came at 2 in the afternoon. An upstream supplier flagged a potential flaw that could, if unaddressed, damage product in the field. Millions at stake. Phones buzzing. The board looking around for a voice. Elena said one sentence. Pause outbound shipments for 48 hours. Assemble the audit team now. No PowerPoint. No drama. Just a heavy sentence. Why did the room move without debate? Credit. For 2 years, she had been making deposits. Nobody applauded. In that moment, she borrowed trust, mission-critical trust, at 0 interest. The board signed the delay. Sales stood down. Vendors cooperated without threats. Within 30 hours, her team found the issue, corrected it, and documented the change. Day 52, the board increased her authority. Not because she was charismatic, but because she was credible. Write it down. Credibility lowers the cost of leadership. It makes obedience cheaper for the people who follow you. Now hear the warning with hope. Some of you are swiping a maxed out trust card. You talk more to compensate for credit you haven't earned. Your sentences are long because your name is light. This is not condemnation. It is an audit. Proverbs 3:3-4 gives the remedy. Let mercy and truth forsake you not. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will find favor and good name in the sight of God and man. Truth plus mercy, confess and correct, restores credit. Start making deposits today. Honesty is my only policy. And hear me, Apologies are not withdrawals when they are early, specific, and repaired with restitution. They are deposits of humility that raise your credit limit. Leaders, train your teams to bank trust consciously. Post your 3 metrics on the wall. Celebrate on-time delivery like you celebrate revenue. Give bonuses for a 100% week. Require early renegotiation of deadlines before anyone wonders. Reward silent stewardship and set a policy I teach everywhere. Never ask people to spend more trust on you than you have deposited with them. Tweet that to your conscience. If you haven't been present, don't require instant allegiance. If you've missed meetings, don't demand midnight miracles. Withdraw according to balance. Remember this too. Words are spendable across rooms. When your private circle trusts your name, they lend that credit to rooms you have not entered yet. That's why Joseph found favor in prison and palace. The same man showed up everywhere. Image before dominion. God invests power where character has proven credit. Matthew 25-21 echoes through economics. Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many. Faithfulness is the resume God reads. Faithfulness is the currency men trust. So here is your action tonight. Audit your trust ledger. Calculate last week honestly, delivery rate, ratio, lag. Send 1 correction email before midnight if you owe one. Make 1 early renegotiation call before lunch tomorrow if you must. And start a daily deposit ritual. The first task you promise each morning. Complete it before checking news. The first truth you learn that corrects your story. Speak it in the same breath. Within 30 days, watch your credit limit rise. People will begin to pre-approve your decisions. Doors will open at your knock. Your signature will weigh more than your speech. Lead with your life. Because when character makes your words heavy, you won't need to shout. Your name will spend for you. Now let's build the walls around your treasury. Trust without architecture is a bank without a vault. Write it down. Design your world so integrity is the path of least resistance. Tweet that to somebody right now. Don't just have convictions, construct conditions. God didn't just give Adam a command, he placed him in a garden with boundaries. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Diligence is design. If you don't design your environment will design you. Start with pruning inputs. What you repeatedly watch and hear becomes your normal. The values to ethics cascade always begins with philosophy, your mental diet. If a show makes adultery funny, it makes your failure predictable. If a podcast baptizes shortcuts as strategy, it short-circuits your conscience. If a playlist stirs lust at midnight, it will escort you to compromise at noon. Pull it, unsubscribe, mute, remove, even if it's your favorite voice, especially if it once helped you but now harms you. Jesus said, if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Matthew 5:30. That's not brutality, that's surgery. Write it down. Pruning is not punishment, it is protection. I have taken books off my shelf, not because the author is my enemy, but because my integrity is my assignment. If you cannot hand that book to your 1-2-year-old with peace, why does your soul sleep with it? Live like a gardener, snip to save, cut to keep, fruit sweet. Now a people audit. He who walks with the wise becomes wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. Proverbs 13:20. Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. Let me ask you a question that will locate your future. Who requires you to mute your vows to keep their friendship? If you must explain your boundaries to the same person every month, you are not with a friend, you are with a negotiator. Abraham loved Lot. But after they separated, the Lord said to Abram, lift up your eyes. Genesis 13:14. Vision returned after pruning. Some relationships are not evil. They are just not going in your direction. Downgrade, access kindly and clearly. Categories help. Mentors up close, peers within policy, those you serve within boundaries, and tempters at a distance. If somebody mocks your generosity, scoffs at your purity, trivializes your punctuality, or applauds your secrecy, they have declared themselves a threat to your destiny. Don't hate them, just relocate them. Write it down. Love everyone. Limit access. Install digital guardrails. Devices can be disciples or deceivers depending on who holds the keys. Visibility is virtue. No secret chats. Disable disappearing messages. Share passwords with your spouse or your accountability partner. Put an admin, not you, over your filters. Public calendars team can see where you are. Not every detail, but your blocks are visible. Device, curfew, phones and tablets sleep in the kitchen at 9:30 p.m. Chargers out of the bedroom. Wi-Fi shuts off by schedule. Location sharing on for those who protect you. Meetings in glass rooms. Cameras are not your enemy. Shadows are. Receipts scanned same day to a shared folder. No private digital wallets for public money. DMs that veer personal get rerouted to email with a colleague CC'd. If it needs a shadow to live, it doesn't need your name. Ephesians 5:11-13 says, take no part in the unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. When anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. Write it down. Light is a strategy, not just a virtue. Live loudly. Adopt the visibility principle everywhere. Work where windows work on you. Keep your door open by default. Document decisions. Keep minutes. CC relevant stakeholders. Never say off the record when you lead on the record. Install clear lanes for travel. Itineraries pre-shared with your spouse and assistant. Hotel floors chosen for safety, not for secrecy. And make a new rule for your conscience. Never do anything at 10 p.m. You would be embarrassed to read at 10 a.m. on the front page. John 3:21 says, whoever does what is true comes to the light. Truth loves light. Secrecy is rotten wood, looks strong until a little pressure makes it crumble. You can never disagree with that principle. Leadership boundaries now. Not every stage is your assignment. Some stages are traps dressed as opportunities. Write it down. Decline stages your soul cannot survive yet. That is not fear, that is wisdom. Do not be hasty in the laying on of hands. 1 Timothy 5:22. David tried on Saul's armor, then said, I cannot go with these, I have not tested them. 1 Samuel 17:39. Refusal kept him alive. If you haven't tested your vows under a small audience, don't accept a larger one to prove yourself. Proverbs 27:21 warns, the crucible is for silver, and a man is tested by his praise. Praise is heat. Exposure is pressure. Image before dominion means identity before platform. Even Jesus said, my time has not yet come, John 7:6. If the Son of God could say, not yet, so can you. Tweet that to your ambition. Not yet is a holy sentence. Let me press a scenario. They invite you to a conference where the honorarium doubles your monthly salary, but the culture mocks your boundaries. The green room is gossip. The night stretch past the vows you spoke. Are you for sale? If your internal policy says, I travel with transparency, I leave at 10, I don't do backroom deals, then your decision is already made. Remember Matthew 4. Satan offered Jesus visibility without obedience. Jesus chose principle over platform. Power, money, sex, these three tests live backstage. Declining a stage can be the purest sermon you preach. Here is a strategy you can start tonight. Build a hedge. The devil accused God. Have you not put a hedge around him? Job 1:10. Put a hedge around you on purpose. 3 layers. Inputs, people, platforms. Inputs, list 5 sources that normalize, compromise, and cut them for 30 days. People identify 3 relationships to downgrade and 1 wise person to upgrade. Platforms write a stage policy. I do not accept invitations without spousal and mentor counsel. I require transparent travel. I don't do post-midnight socials. I do not accept gifts without disclosure. I decline contexts that mock my vows. Then codify your digital rules, shared passwords, device curfew, no secret chats, public calendars, print it, sign it, give it to your accountability partner. Honesty is my only policy. Design is destiny. Don't trust your moods, trust your mechanisms. Don't gamble on willpower, bank on wise architecture. Lead with your life by building a world that makes righteousness easy and compromise expensive. When integrity is the path of least resistance, your 2 a.m. disciplines will patrol your 2 p.m. platform without you thinking. Live loudly, prune bravely, decline wisely, and when your name steps onto any stage, the room will already know the same person just arrived. Image before dominion. Principles before pressure. That is how a life stays whole. Now we turn principle into practice. Write it down. Practice makes principle permanent. Discipline your day until trust becomes your reflex. You can never disagree with the principle. Everybody wants big character at 2 in the afternoon. Only a few are willing to keep small appointments at 2 in the morning. This is a 30-day drill to install your integrity into your calendar. Don't trust your feelings. Trust your habits. Don't rely on memory. Rely on mechanisms. Lead with your life. Begin each day with the 7-minute alignment. 7 minutes because you have no excuse. Set an alarm named image before dominion. When it rings, stand up. Speak your midnight vows aloud. I do not lie. I do not steal. I flee sexual immorality. I submit to policy, even when I outrank policy. I am not for sale. The Lord our God is one. Be one. Then review your top values, 3 only. The ones you are willing to lose applause to keep. Honor, truth, service. Say them out loud. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain. Now write today's 3 promises. Only 3. Not goals. Promises, precisely stated, time-bound, accountable, by Yedanashche, 0 AM. I will deliver the Q3 draft to Maria. By 2:30 p.m., I will call my client to renegotiate the timeline before it slips. By 6 p.m., I will reconcile Tuesday's receipts and send a summary. Tweet that to somebody right now. Fewer, clearer promises, increase kept promises. James 1:22 commands, be doers of the word and not hearers only. Alignment turns hearing into doing. End each day with the 7-minute audit. Set a second alarm named honesty is my only policy. Sit with your list. Promise kept, circle it, and thank God. Promise missed, confess it immediately. No flattery, no story. Proverbs 28:13 says, whoever conceals his sins does not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them finds mercy. Write the reason without blame. Then schedule 1 restitution action on the spot. A correction email tonight before midnight. A calendar invite to deliver the make good. A gift card when your delay costs someone lunch. Matthew 5:23-24 is leadership policy. Make it right quickly. And if your conscience nudges you toward a person, text them now. I'm sorry I missed our commitment. Here is the new delivery time. I will add an executive summary as restitution. Early, specific, repaired. That is how trust increases after an error. Write it down. Apology without restitution is sentiment. Apology with restitution is leadership. Every week, set a money integrity appointment. Same time, same day. Call it your Luke 16 meeting. He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much. Sunday at 6 p.m. or Friday at 4 p.m. But choose and never move it for entertainment. Open your accounts. Download your statements. Reconcile every expense to a receipt and every receipt to a category. First tenth given generosity is governance. It breaks the back of greed and reminds your soul who is God. Malachi 3:10. Savings assigned. Spending last. No personal items on corporate cards. Ever. No rounding ever. Identify anomalies and document a correction. Then send a 2-paragraph summary to your accountability partner. Weeks giving, total expenses, discrepancies found and fixed. 2 Corinthians 8:21 says, we take pains to do what is right, not only in the eyes of the Lord, but also in the eyes of men. Pain now is cheaper than scandal later. If you travel, attach scans of receipts within 24 hours of returning. If you owe reimbursement, file it before you sleep. Tweet this to your spirit. Numbers don't lie, they teach. Now guard your hours with boundary blocks. Design it, don't debate it. Pre-schedule 2 device-free focus blocks daily, 90 minutes each, morning and afternoon. Doors open or glass room. Devices in a drawer. Notifications off. Calendar marked, do not interrupt. Promise in progress. Your brain will thank you. Your trust ledger will smile. Insert a device-free window in the evening, no screens, after 9:30 p.m. Chargers sleep outside the bedroom. That is not legalism. That is leadership. I discipline my body and make it my slave, Paul says in 1 Corinthians 9:27. Travel protocols next. Publish your itinerary to your spouse or accountability partner before you leave. Book hotels with clear lobbies and visible elevators. Ask the front desk to remove the minibar. If they won't, tape it shut and photograph it. On arrival, call home before you unpack. That call is offense. Request rooms on well-lit floors near the elevator. Decline upgrades that complicate purity with private lounges. Meetings stay in public spaces. Meals require a third person when wisdom warrants. Never ride alone late with someone who can compromise your vow or your reputation. Flee is a verb with feet. Joseph used it and kept his crown. Genesis 39:12. Lingerers lose, leavers live. Arrange your rooms for righteousness. At home and hotel, put a printed copy of your vows on the desk. Place your Bible open on the pillow before you leave for the day, so the first thing you move at night is the Word. Angle chairs to face light, not screens. Keep a shredder near your desk. Shred secrecy. Post your off limits after 9 p.m. List sites, shows, chats. Remember, Ephesians 5:11. Expose darkness. Write it down. Light is a strategy, not merely a virtue. Measure your trust in public. Metrics are moral. Establish 3 trust metrics and publish them weekly to your team. 1. On-time deliverables percentage of tasks delivered by or before the promised time. Target 95% and rising. 2. Unforced errors, mistakes within your control, like wrong attachments, missed CCs, inaccurate figures. Track them without shame. Trend them downward. 3. Unsolicited endorsements, the referrals, public praises, and approvals you did not request. They are market signals that your credibility is compounding. Post a simple dashboard every Friday by 3 p.m. with a 1-paragraph reflection and 1 adjustment for next week. Proverbs 27:23 says, be diligent to know the state of your flocks. Your flock is your promises. Here is how the 30 days unfold. Days 1-7. Install the morning alignment and evening audit until they fire without negotiation. Set both alarms. Write the 3 promises daily. Audit nightly. Send 1 restitution before midnight if you owe one. Days 8-14. Add the weekly money integrity appointment and 1 device-free focus block. Send your first money summary to your accountability partner. Days 15-21. Upgrade to 2 daily focus blocks. Lock in the device curfew and activate your travel protocol on any trip, even a local late meeting practice before pressure. Days 22-30. Publish your trust metrics to your team every Friday and invite 1 teammate to audit your week against your 3 promises. Yes, let someone grade you. Daniel prayed 3 times a day as was his custom since early days. Daniel 6:10. Custom builds courage. Practice builds permanence. By day 30, your reflex will be righteousness. Let me give you scripts. Because decisions made in peace control behavior in pressure. Morning vow script. Father, today I choose image before dominion. I will keep my 3 promises. My yes will be yes. My name is not for sale. Evening audit script. Lord, where I kept my word, thank you for grace. Where I failed, I confess and repair. Money summary script to your partner. This week, giving 10%, savings 10%, expenses $X, discrepancies 2, corrected as attached. Travel check-in script to your spouse. Landed 6:12 p.m. Room 1421. Meeting in lobby at 7. Back by 9:30. Doors locked. These small sentences move large futures. Why so precise? Because vague intentions incubate moral accidents. Write it down. Design beats desire. Tweak that to your ambition. God honors order. When you order your day, you offer him something to bless. Psalm 37:23 says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Give him steps. Give him 7 minutes. Give him receipts. Give him fences in 30 days. Watch your soul quiet, your team relax, your name grow heavy. People will begin to pre-approve your request because your 2 a.m. policies have been paying 2 p.m. dividends. And here is my pastoral command with hope. Do not break the chain. If you miss a morning, do 2 minutes, not 0. If you miss a week, restart tonight, not next month. Your future is built in tiny bricks daily. Finally, commission your calendar. Open it now in your mind. Insert the alarms. Reserve the blocks. Schedule the money meeting. Draft the dashboard template. Text your accountability partner. Starting the 3-0 day 2 a.m. drill tonight. Expect my first summary Friday. Then stand up and say with me, character is self-imposed discipline. I will leave it my life. When this drill is done, you won't need to announce trust. It will announce you. Your yes will weigh more than your resume. B will be B at 2 a.m. And the world will bank on you at 2 p.m. Image before dominion, always. Your 2 a.m. life funds, your 2 p.m. influence, tweet that to somebody right now. You can never disagree with the principle. When the room is bright and the cameras are on, people are not reacting to your speech, they are spending your secret life. Trust is not an event at noon. It is a bill paid at night. Write it down. Your future will not be built by your Sunday performance, but by your Monday patterns. B is B at 2 a.m. And that is why B can be believed at 2 p.m. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lead with your life. So here is my final question that will follow you home. Who are you at 2 a.m.? Not who you post. Who you are, not the bio, the bedroom, not the stage, the study. Will you be the same person when no one claps? There is no such thing as a private life. Jesus said, there is nothing covered that will not be revealed, nor hidden that will not be known. Luke 12:2. Proverbs 10:9 adds, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Write it down. Never do anything you must hide. Live so secrets and stage say the same name. Tweet that to your conscience. Now we seal this with a public pledge. Words create worlds. The Lord our God is one. Be one. Deuteronomy 6:4. I want you to stand in your soul and read this with me out loud in your heart now and out loud with your family tonight. I choose image before dominion. I will not lie. I will not steal. I will flee sexual immorality. I will submit to policy even when I outrank policy. I am not for sale. My yes will be yes and my no will be no. I will make restitution when I fail. I will live in the light. I will let those who love me see what protects me. I will keep watch over my money with honesty. I will be the same person in hotel and home, in boardroom and bedroom, in text and in talk. I will lead with my life. Honesty is my only policy. Now write it down and sign it. Hand a copy to your spouse, to your team, to a trusted friend. Tell them, hold me to these. That is not weakness, that is wisdom. Ecclesiastes 4:12 says, a cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Invite strands around your soul. Vision now. Image before dominion. Values before visibility. Character before crowds. God's order is Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image and let them have dominion. God gave character before power. Power will kill you without character. Visibility without values is a funeral in waiting. Write it down. Do not ask God for a stage bigger than your secret place. Jesus said, when you pray, go into your room and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. Matthew 6:6. Secret place first, open reward later. Are you ready to choose slow, holy formation over fast, hollow fame? Tweet that to your ambition. Not yet is not no, it is noble. Let me give you a picture to carry. A young analyst, 27 years old. I'll call him Marcus. No blue check, no microphone. But at 2 a.m., while nobody watched, he corrected a spreadsheet that would shave a hidden fee off a client invoice. He sent the revised bill with an apology nobody asked for. 2 months later, at 2 p.m., a city contract opened. His boss said one sentence, give Marcus the file, no vote. Why? His 2 a.m. deposit paid the 2 p.m. decision. Psalm 15 describes this man, he who swears to his own hurt and does not change. Verse 4. Write it down. Keep your word. Even when it cuts your profit, it will crown your profile later. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Your name is your legacy. Spend it carefully. Save it relentlessly. Leaders, this is the charge. From this day, live loudly, not for applause, but for alignment. Practice the vows you just pledged until they become your reflex. Publish them on your wall, on your calendar, on your lips. Tell your children, this is our house policy. Tell your team, these are our leadership laws. And when you are pressed, because you will be pressed by power, by money, by access to sex, answer with policy, not with panic. Pre-decide your purity. Pre-decide your honesty. Pre-decide your stewardship. Joseph did not improvise. He implemented. How then could I do such a wicked thing and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. He fled. He lost his coat and kept his crown. Write it down. Better to lose a garment than to lose your government. Let no one despise your youth, your obscurity, or your small platform, but be an example to the believers in word, in conduct, in love, in spirit, in faith, in purity. 1 Timothy 4:12. Example is leadership. Example is expensive. Example is eternal. Paul said, our boast is the testimony of our conscience. 2 Corinthians 1:12. Not the noise of our followers, the testimony of our conscience. Will your conscience cheer tonight? If not, repair it before you sleep. Confess quickly. Correct fully. Restore joy by restitution. You can never disagree with the principle. Now lift your future with your mouth. Say it again. I will lead with my life. I will place image before dominion, values before visibility, character before crowds. I will never do anything I must hide. I will live so secrets and stage say the same name. My 2 a.m. life will fund my 2 p.m. influence. Tweet that to your tomorrow. Make it your signature. Build hedges that help you keep it. Keep your morning alignment. Keep your evening audit. Keep your Luke 16 money meeting. Keep your glass rooms and your open calendars. Keep your metrics where your team can see them. And when you stumble, because we all stumble, get up in the light. Leaders repair faster than they fail. That is how trust grows after a fall. Finally, receive this commission. May the God who is one make you one. May the Spirit who hovered over formless waters hover over your calendar and bring order. May the word that cannot lie make your yes heavy and your no holy. Walk into rooms as the same person who knelt in your room. Go into cities with a name that spins like gold because it is backed by eternity. And when dominion comes, and it will come to the faithful, wear it lightly, guard it fiercely, and return the glory to the one who gave image before power. Lead with your life, because principles never change, and trust is your legacy. And if you live as one, trust will walk into every room before you do and whisper, the same person just arrived.